So, Shaun.
Yeah, hi Shobit. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I think thanks to Sunil we met.
Yeah.
So finally.
Welcome to the podcast. हमने Instagram पे बहुत बार बात करी है.
हाँ जी.
But face to face हम first time मिल रहे हैं. So आप पहले तो अपने बारे में थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दे दो क्योंकि बच्चों को ये तो पता है कि you are the deep sea man on Instagram and I think आप YouTube पे नहीं हो अभी ना?
YouTube पे भी मैं भी हूँ. वो पहले मैं actually I should not put इतना ज़्यादा वीडियो नहीं डालता था. So and then I met Sunil.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then no, actually he introduced me. He said, why don't you put in efforts, a little bit more efforts with the editing and इतना तो करते हो तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा क्यों नहीं करते हो? तो he told me about Final Cut Pro. Yeah. So that's when मैंने डाउनलोड किया सॉफ्टवेयर and basic small tips. He's like the go-to person. तो वो बताता है मुझे tips about FCP. And yeah, that's how मैंने डाउनलोड किया and then I start edit. Earlier मैं फ़ोन पे करता था but he told me that फ़ोन पे करना मत. It is useless. You'll have to put in a lot of efforts and get the output would not be इतना satisfactory. तो इसके लिए I downloaded that and that's how I started. So my YouTube channel also is the same, the Deep Sea Man on YouTube. Yes. So
I thought till now I thought that you are on the Instagram with the name the Deep Sea Man.
Okay.
I don't know about the YouTube.
No, YouTube also is the same one. So I'll share my link with you. So it's the same thing.
So first of all, I want to do
some basic yes.
introduction.
Basically, actually, yes. So let's start with it. My name is Shaun D'Souza. So I've been born and brought up in Bombay. Yeah. So my parents, my grandparents, सब Bombay से ही हैं. My father is a helicopter technician. My grandfather was a technician with Mahindra and Mahindra. So I've been in Bombay, been in this with this engineering background for a long time.
Okay.
तो जब भी दादा या dad भी would do some jobs on the motorcycle or some home improvements like electrical jobs या plumbing या कुछ भी करते थे मैं हमेशा साथ में रहता था.
Okay.
So ये मुझ में always था that I was very interested into mechanical jobs or something like that. So now I'm a chief engineer on board cargo ships. I'm sailing on LPG tankers right now, LPG and ethane, and hopefully someday I shift to LNG. Okay. But it does take in a lot of effort. And I started my first ship, मेरा first ship as an engine cadet 2005 में था, which is quite some time ago.
Okay. So मैं past में बाद में जाऊँगा.
Okay.
Because यहाँ पे एक बहुत important point आ गया, that is LPG and LNG. What is the difference? That is my curiosity. What is the difference between LPG and LNG?
Okay, you're asking the right question on the right particular day because today I've just started teaching at NAMAC Naval Marine Institute, the advanced gas tanker course. In fact, one of my colleague, one of my captains who sailed with me, so his friend is teaching at NAMAC and they didn't have a chief engineer for these few days. So उन्होंने मुझे पूछा कि आप आ सकते हो कि can you fill in for the chief engineer, and I happily went in there and this is my first lectures there and I really liked teaching. So hopefully मैं continue कर पाऊँ. And yes, so LPG and LPG the difference is yes, you are always carrying your liquid petroleum and that is natural. LNG is basically only methane, whereas LPG you have propane, you have butane, then you have few chemical gases that are also carried as cargoes here because of the guidelines given by the IMDG code. Like you carry ammonia, so that is not LPG, but again you need to carry it here. It's a chemical gas, but because of its certain properties, you have to carry it in a gas tanker.
Okay.
So like butadiene, VCM, vinyl chloride monomer, these are all chemical gases that have to be carried on LPG ships. On LPG ships, the lowest temperature what you would carry at atmospheric pressure is minus 43 degrees.
Oh.
That is propane.
Okay.
So that is the lowest temperature what cargo you would carry. Whereas ethane, again, it is actually a LPG, but the carrying temperature for ethane is minus 89 degrees. So your tanks are designed for minus 89 and it's carried at minus 89. Then the next step is what you would do is ethylene. Ethylene is carried at minus 104. But ethylene is a chemical gas. Yes, we maintain in this kind of temperatures with the reliquefaction systems on board.
Okay.
So with that, like LPG can be done in a single reliquefaction. You don't need a secondary refrigerant. Okay. Whereas ethylene and LNG, that's methane, we need a cascade reliquefaction. That means, just the normal compressor, condenser, evaporator cycle is not enough. You need an additional secondary refrigerant into this. So this one, I think I'll make a YouTube video soon because it's not a small topic to cover.
Yeah.
But इसमें आपको एक तो आपको LPG लगेगा first, and then you require propylene is used as a secondary refrigerant. So propylene actually cools down the primary refrigerant in the condenser, and then it goes to the tanks, which will help it get it down to minus 89 or minus 104 for ethylene. And in case of methane, you go down to minus 163.
So actually, you are working on this tanker, and
yes.
पूरा का पूरा जो process है ये और ज़्यादा complicated हो जाता है. So like,
correct.
अभी कुछ दिन पहले कैडेट था हमारे साथ में अजय खाती. He is working on chemical tanker.
Correct.
So he was telling के bulk carrier से ज़्यादा precautions लेने पड़ते हैं chemical tankers में.
Correct.
But आपका कंपैरिजन क्या, केमिकल टैंकर्स वर्सेस दिस एलपीजी?
LPG is also, the precautions are much more than what you would do on a chemical tanker, because on a chemical tanker there are times when you can actually see the liquid in the tank, see the you do the tank washings. When you change the grade, you can see the grade in the tank. You actually you feel the bulkhead of the tank at some points after you gas free. But then there are times when आपको grade change करना पड़ता है from butane to propane.
Okay.
These at some places you get LPG mix, but again it's the charter's abhi. If the charter is paying for LPG mix, so why would he want butane in your propane, or why would he want propane in your butane? So they just don't want to mix these two cargos. So in that case, you have to, gradually do it. You'll have to move it like an image. Like butane, since it has 4 carbon, it is heavier than propane. So now when you are displacing butane from a propane tank, you will displace it from the bottom. You will, put the butane gas from the bottom, and you have an imaginary piston of butane slowly pushing your propane vapors on the top. So this all has to be done at a very controlled rate, because now if this imaginary piston, you go too fast in the beginning, if there is turbulence here, so then at that turbulence you lose that much amount of volume. So in that case, whereas now when you compare operations from a chemical tanker, okay, you clean the tank. It's not simple. Let me tell you that. Of course, it's confusing, but it is easier. Let me tell you, it is easier.
But tank cleaning in case of this LPG.
LPG.
I think it is
No,
more
tank cleaning in case of LPG, you are not cleaning any tanks.
Okay.
This is only I'm talking about when you change the grades, because you don't want to mix
No,
the
but
two
I'm talking
quantities.
about the tank cleaning.
Tank cleaning in LPG is your cleanest kind of cargo.
Okay.
So once you make the tank completely liquid free,
Yeah.
that is you need to warm up the tanks, because the tanks are at minus 43 degrees. You need to warm up the tanks, bring them to ambient, and then you will insert in IG, dry IG.
Okay.
So IG also, the dew point of IG what goes in is about minus 40 for propane vessels, and ethane vessels you'll have a dew point of minus 70 and minus 80 and below. So that if there is any water vapor in the IG that comes in, it doesn't stick to your tank walls and doesn't cause any water accumulation inside the tanks. So after you inert the tanks completely, then you will put in your fresh air, and then you will ventilate the tank. So the process, one is warming up the tank, one is liquid free first, then you warm up the tank, then you will inert the tank, and then you will gas free the tank. So gas free is the tank when your oxygen content is 20.5%, there are no toxic gases, and you can happily enter the tank. So and then the only job what you do down, and LNG ships, trust me, the bulkhead will still be clean and shiny today. Even tomorrow, even after 5 years, the bulkhead will still be the same. Okay. It will be clean. You don't have to clean anything. In LPG ships, yes, sometimes when you load from terminals, especially in the US and all that, along when you load, you have this small, fine dust, fine powder that comes in and accumulates down and all of that. So at the most, at the bottom of an LPG tank in a 5-year dry dock, in a special, the guys go down and they just sweep all the kachra, sweep all this thing, all the dust at the bottom of the tank, they collect that and they come out.
Okay.
So tank cleaning is not a issue here, but grade change becomes difficult. Then inerting of these tanks is a little complicated process. Gas freeing of the tanks, again, it's a complicated process.
Okay.
So and दूसरे जो disadvantage होते हैं that many of these gas tanker and LNG terminals are सबसे city के सबसे बाहर होते हैं.
Okay.
So again your the perks of shore leave. तो बाहर जाओगे तो भी कहाँ जाओगे? Yeah, and there are certain terminals that don't allow. They are private terminals. Like if you are a private terminal operator, why would you want to have when I come from a foreign ship coming to you, so you will have to have immigrations, you will have to have customs, you will have to have security. So instead of all this, you just have security. If you say no shore leave, simple. जो आता है वही बाहर जाएगा. Same ship से आए वही ship से हम बाहर जाएंगे. So in that case, you don't have to bother about immigration and customs. So no additional government authorities to you, no additional headache for you. Exactly. So many private terminals don't even allow shore leave at LNG terminals. So you don't have a choice. So there is where life gets a little difficult. But only the good part is, yes, they tend to relieve you on time.
Yeah, so like अभी जैसे काफ़ी सारे लोग तो इसलिए ज्वाइन करते हैं कि सर वो हम ट्रैवल करेंगे, आई लाइक टू ट्रैवल द होल वर्ल्ड. सो आई थिंक जो भी ट्रैवल करने के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आ रहा है,
travel point of view, okay, let me tell you one very clear cut example. I joined from 2019, I joined for a yard delivery. Okay. Then unfortunately COVID struck, so I joined. So that ship we delivered in Jan, the second week of Jan. I got onto that ship and I got out on land on that ship only in July after 7 months.
Okay.
So then again no shore leave. Then I joined my next ship in again Jan, next year, Jan 21, and I did not get any shore leave till I signed off. The time I signed, and that is again November 21. That's it. And then now I have joined another company. I joined another vessel in May, and that ship again no shore leave till I signed off.
Okay.
And just last vessel I got to go out twice. That is once I went out at Panama, and the second time again at Panama, and the third time I signed off. So
That means
if I
you
can
are
count, I have not
sure-
even, no, I let me tell you in number of hours. So at that Panama about 20, I must have had about 30 hours of shore leave from 2021 up to now. 30 hours.
Oh.
So that really gives you a number. 30 hours of shore leave in seven, another 8 is 15, 5, 20. Yeah, in about 25 months, I had about, okay, rough give and take 40 hours of shore leave in 25 months.
In 25 months.
25 months. So 40 hours of shore leave being on LPG and ethane vessels.
सो गाइस पहले से सोच करके रख लो भाई, अगर इस पे जा रहे हो ना तो तुम्हारी बहुत बुरी तरीके से वाट लगने वाली है, शोर लीव नहीं मिलेगी. पीपल आर सेइंग कि हाँ मुझे पूरी दुनिया घूमने को मिलेगी और हम मैं ऐसा करूँगा, शोर लीव पे जाऊँगा. ओके, आपने स्टार्ट किया था इंजीनियरिंग से ही आपने स्टार्ट
Yes. Actually, it is very interesting story also.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do mechanical engineering at one point. I was very confused. I like to do a lot of painting and art. So I wanted to do architecture at some point. So I also went to JJ School of Art, seen what prospects are there. I had gone with my mother.
Okay.
Then mechanical engineering, I said, okay, yeah, finally I dialed it down to mechanical engineering. My father was a helicopter technician with Pawan's helicopters. So once I went, he took me, they have a school there called Bombay Flying Club. So there they do aeronautical engineering. So this is a very strange incident. So, I mean, not strange, surprising. And today, even till today, sometimes my mother does remind me about this one, that she took me there to, to the Bombay Flying Club, and I seen couple of boys working in their overalls, boiler suits. So ये लोग हेलीकॉप्टर के नीचे काम कर रहे थे, and वो लोग गंदे थे.
Yeah.
And at that point in my mind I said, यार ये काम तो मैं नहीं करूँगा.
Okay.
And their boiler suits गंदे थे यार, हाथ भी काले थे, not काले but yeah brown.
Yeah, I'm getting it. Like
And
grease wala.
yes, no, and the dirtiest oil what they handle there is lube oil.
Okay.
And on the ships, जहाजों पे, the cleanest oil we handle is lube oil. Okay, so there have been times when I've been cleaning filters, transfer pump filters. जब ठंडा होता है, fuel oil, I can carry the fuel oil like this, and it drips down my fingers like जैसे thick grease.
Yeah.
So from those days up to now, and there are times when I'm fully covered because I've gone to clean a fuel oil tank, I've gone to inspect sludge tank, and जब पूरा, I mean, maybe eyes छोड़ के बाकी सब काला.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that I wanted to do it, but हो गया. And किसी ना किसी को तो करना ही है. And ऐसा नहीं कि unsafe था. Yes, vapors and all are there, but we are taking gas readings before. Even then, gas readings लेते थे. It's not you're working 24 hours into one enclosed space. You come out, take your break. As per all the regulations and checklist, your seniors were always there when I was a cadet. और अभी हम हैं when our cadets are there.
Yeah.
And cadets or juniors are there, we are always there. So this is how I started. So then we went there. Then उसके बाद मुझे लगा no, I want to do flying. I want to become a pilot.
Okay.
But at that point, yes, this is 2001, 2002. So तब काफ़ी महंगा था. It was not cheap. So my dad was just working back in India. My mother had a catering business.
Yeah.
So they frankly told me, see, this we cannot afford. Because that time it was still 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs in Bombay and even Bangalore.
Yeah.
So they told me, see, sorry, this we can't afford.
Okay.
And I said, okay, yes, I had to live with it. अभी नहीं कर सकते तो नहीं कर सकते. But my father said, yes, this aeronautical engineering is there. अगर करोगे, then I can definitely place you. I have that upper hand. You will have that upper hand compared to the other people around. तो वो अच्छा होगा. And so then I said, okay, I was doing my 12th standard. In that, then I had one of my very good friend, Vernon DeCosta. So उनके father, he was a captain. He was a captain in merchant navy sailing with chemical tankers.
Okay.
तो उनका lifestyle देखा तो वो अच्छा लगा. Then I realized, yes, I can achieve this someday. तो एक बार उनसे बात हुआ. Then his father told us about this college in Kurla, Don Bosco Maritime Academy. That's where I studied. So
you have done your marine engineering?
Yes, it's a marine engineering. But I mean, at that point, we used to call it as ATS, Alternate Training Scheme for Marine Engineers.
Okay.
इसमें course was actually 3 years, but it becomes 4. So let me tell you, first year was 12 months at sea, 12 months on land in the college. In that, we would have like 360 hours of welding, 360 hours of machine shop, 360 hours of marine machinery, plus your educational, plus engineering drawings. All the basic first year engineering subjects were there. So उसके बाद the second year, we had to get a sponsorship. Either we get it before or after. That you need to do minimum 9 months on a ship.
Okay.
So minimum 9 months on a ship as an engine cadet. So वो किया. So since all the guys will not get the ship at the same time, 9 months, because HTCW course भी करने हैं, तो ship पे भी जाना है and CDC भी आनी है. तो because of that, they would give us, so बीच में वो 2 साल का gap. So some boys would do 10 months, some boys would do 12 months, some boys would do 2 ships. Depends on what company, जो company sponsor कराती है या कहाँ पे वो जाते हैं. So that's why the second year gap would be 2 years. And then the third year back again to college. in that again the hours for marine machinery would increase. So like we had उधर में in our institute में diesel generator था जो चलता हुआ diesel generator. We had lots of AC compressors, AC compressors, pumps, सब कुछ था. Even a 2-stroke engine piston was there. When at that point it was not there at any of the institutes, be it Anglo or any other institute. तब बॉम्बे में नहीं था. So these were the yes, the perks are, and even at that point, I remember in our third year, I used to have the Anglo-Eastern cadets. Anglo-Eastern, the selected guys, chosen guys from Anglo-Eastern would come there to learn marine machinery.
Oh.
Yes, Anglo-Eastern was one. Then I think HIMT एक institute था, तो उनके cadets भी उधर आते थे. So that time they were all senior to us, so we used to listen to them, listen to their stories. But they would come and be doing the same machineries and handling the same things what we would be handling.
That's great. That's great.
And then the best part about our college in our third year, they had split 2 batches. And our principal, he also is ex DMET, Mr. Soman. He's no more now, but he's a fantastic guy. That time, हमको लगता था यार, ये Hitler है. But now we realize, yeah, we needed that guy to give us the push. So he split the batch in 2 and bought one batch. He bought an old purifier, HFO purifier from Alang, and he told this batch, okay, you guys will get this purifier running, no matter what the cost. Okay, we will pay. You pay for the item. If it's too expensive, we will give you the money. Procure the bills, give us the bills, all the bills, and we get this purifier running.
Yeah.
And the second batch, he said, okay, this is all they are doing. You guys work with something new. I want you to create a gas turbine.
Okay.
Yeah. So they can't create a gas turbine from the start. So he gave them a push-up saying that एक पुराना truck का turbocharger खरीदो and get that running. Compressor, put it to a combustion chamber, and then put it back to the turbine. Don't take the energy output, but at least get it to a stable gas turbine. So at least you know how it works, basic principles. So ये सब was very useful. So in the last 6 months of our college, along with our studies, ये भी project साथ में चल रहा था. But the good part is, compared to the other engineering college, this was completely funded college funded.
Okay.
So whatever we paid, whatever expenses we paid, like if we had to go to town to procure something, of course we had lunch on the way. We would keep the bill, attach the bill to that, and the college and the team would reimburse us.
That's good. That's good.
So this was very, very good thing about that college. But after I finished the 3 years, I realized, they informed us before also that this is not a degree and it's not a diploma course. It's just a DG approved certificate course. After I finish the course, I have to give class 4 part A in India.
Okay.
So which has again your basic 4 subjects. Then I have to sail another 6 months as a trainee engineer again, and then I could give class 4 part B.
So after that you can join
As a 4th engineer. That will be your your 3rd engineer certificate. You're like your second mate's license. So after you get your class 4 part B is when you have your license to sail as a 4th engineer. So that is when what was there. But so since I already sailed, then one of my seniors, he went to New Zealand he approached the New Zealand MMD for their certification. So they actually approved the training, my 9 months, they recognized that one before, and they said you can give class 4 part A and part B together. Yeah. If you do not clear part A, okay, then you sit for the preparatory course, then you give part A, and then you give part B.
Okay.
So when we went there, as soon as we went there, within the first week in New Zealand, I gave my part A exams and I cleared the exams. Two of my other friends were also there. So we cleared the exams, so immediately we could apply for sit for the class for part B and give part B. And that's how I completed my class. There they call it as class 3. Okay. Basically your 3rd engineer, so they call it as class 3. And class 3 motor, since you're doing motor ships. So वहाँ पे मैंने ये class 3 complete किया. And after that I sailed, I was with fleet management as a cadet. So then I first time sailed as 4th engineer in Jan 2008.
In the same company?
In the same company, yes. So right from cadetship till I cleared my class 1, I was with fleet management.
That's good. And
yes.
Right now you are in fleet management?
No. I left fleet management in 2015.
Okay.
So after that, I already got my class 1 and I had done different kinds of vessels. My first ship was a Ro-Ro carrier. So second ship was a Aframax tanker. Third ship was a Aframax tanker. Then I requested them. At that point, yes. See, now a lot of people want to change from a bulk carrier. Suddenly they want to jump to an LNG. But I always tell the guys, why will the company change you? What benefit to them? You are not an asset right now. You are an asset on the type of ship you are. But if you want to change, it's as good as a career progression. So you have to show them why you are worth it. When I told them, yes, I want to go on a chemical tanker. But I had already read about chemical tankers before. कि क्या होता है, क्या नहीं होता है, what should I expect, what should I not expect, what are the things to be done, what are the basic additional machinery that are there compared to an oil tanker. So that the gentleman there asked me, why do you want to go there? Then I told him about these things. He said, okay. Then the next time when I came back, I told him I want to go on an LPG tanker. He said, hey, last time you did and अभी now change करना है. So he said, yes. He said, क्या करोगे उधर जाके? I said, yeah, I want to, I would like to be a gas engineer there. He said, but what will you do? You don't know. Why should we put you there?
Yeah.
So तब I explained to him what I wanted and what I seen and what I expect. And so he was happy. And yes, and definitely your previous appraisals matter a lot. So अगर आपके same company में different type of shifts है and you want to change, it is easier rather than going to a new firm because they don't know you.
Yeah.
Your own company has to just pull up your own records. They see your previous appraisals, and on that basis, they can place you in any of their vessels. It depends on the last minute whether availability of that kind of ship at the time you want to join.
Yes.
So after that, I shifted to gas,
Yeah.
and then at one point, I was on a gas carrier. Then I finished my class two. I gave my class 2 in Singapore because my wife, she was working with Singapore Airlines at then.
Okay.
So I wanted to go to UK. But then I had one of my third years at that point who had given his exams with Singapore. So he advised me, why do you want to go there? Singapore itself is a white flag nation. UK is a white flag nation. And your wife is already there. You're paying, why would you want to pay for 2 households?
Exactly.
So that made a lot of sense to me. So, I still respect this advice from Vikram. His name is Vikramjit Singh. He's chief engineer.
Okay.
So he advised me about this. So yeah, I still respect that. And so I continued to give my class 2 in Singapore. Then once I cleared my class 2, I sailed on a vessel on a bulk. They said, sir, we will promote you only on a bulk carrier. That's our procedure. So I took that option. And then the next vessel I was supposed to go on a tanker. But this was 2012 when they told me, we are getting a new electronic engine in 2012. So do you want to go there? So I took that opportunity and then I sailed on that. I mean, now these engines, they call them as MAN BMW's ME engines, the electronically controlled engines. So since then, I've been only on those kind of engines since 2012. So I really thank fleet management. And I had one superintendent he was also a motorcycling guy.
Okay.
So he also liked motorcycles. So he seen me, we connected, and he was the superintendent of my vessel. So he suggested me, you go to that's the newest technology around.
Okay.
So since then, I've on those kind of vessels. So I sailed on a couple of them. Then with fleet, since they seen me on one vessel, then they were getting newer electronic engines, but they didn't have experienced people because they would have to send them for retraining again. So it was a win-win for both of them. Midway of my contract, they tell me, hey, 3 months, you want to come home? I said, why? I said, with another ship. I said, you get home for 15 days and go back to another new one. I said, yeah. So that's how I ended up. I ended up doing 4 ships actually, deliveries back to back, which was quite interesting, challenging, but good fun all in all. Then I said, okay, now that I need a break. Then I completed class 1. And again, they were asking me, yes, to join one of those bulk carriers. Then I actually pushed my foot down. I said, see, my gas DC abhi expire ho raha hai. 4 saal ho gaye. If I don't do it this year, then I will waste my DC again. So request karke fir then they were putting me on a LPG ship. But at that point, some things didn't work out at the same time. And whereas Anglo called me at that point, they found my CV. They said, we are getting new electronic engines and we don't have specialized engineers. Would you like to join? Then tab maine unko bola, see, that is the time when they wanted me.
Yeah.
So I told them, see, I have my gas DC is there. So they said, and I've been second engineer for almost 4 years by then. तो उन्हें बोला कि आपको पैरल करना पड़ेगा थर्ड इंजीनियर में. तो तब मैंने मना किया, सी, आई एम ऑलरेडी अ सेकंड इंजीनियर, आई नो द गैस कॉन्सेप्ट्स, आई विल नॉट सेल एज थर्ड इंजीनियर. तब then they questioned me, why not? Then is when I told them. Then they asked me questions about gas tankers. They asked me questions about the electronic engines. So after that he said, okay, yes, no problem. That guy is getting off just because the previous guy is, you are joining as second year, which is again management level. तभी आपको हमारा company procedure समझना होगा. Our checklist is different from your previous company. So because of that, you will need a parallel time of 2 weeks. तो तब मैंने 2 weeks parallel time किया as additional second engineer. उसके बाद I got promoted as second engineer there. And then that is when I sailed on gas carriers from, so that is 2016. So since then I'm only on gas carriers. And again after that I got a call from ESM, just 2 contracts after that they really needed somebody at some point and I couldn't join back Anglo for some reasons. So I joined them and they committed to me in their offer letter that they will promote me. Once your appraisals are good, we will surely promote you. I told them, appraisals, aap chinta na karo. Definitely, I will work hard and I know my appraisals will be good. So because see, when you are going on board, you are away from home. The only thing what can keep you going is you work hard, you enjoy.
Exactly.
So I said, you don't worry about the appraisals. Appraisals will be good. So, looking at this confidence, the gentleman there was very happy. So he said, okay, let's go ahead. So I did 1 contract with ESM as second engineer. So then they promoted me back on the sister ship as chief engineer itself. So after that, I was there with ESM. And then probably it was getting a bit stagnant. So then I did that time was a semi-pressurized LPGs. Then I did some fully ref LPGs. And then is when I got a call from Eagle Star saying that they were again looking for people with gas experience because ethane ships, ME engines were again new to Eagle Star. Okay. They had just delivered the vessels. They had taken over the vessels because fleet management had actually gone to take the vessels from the yard, but for some reasons they couldn't supervise the building, and the charterers had booked the vessels with no experience at all. So that's when Eagle Star stepped in. They said, no, we will buy the vessels. We have the manpower. We will do it. So they were looking for people at that point with previous gas and previous ME experience. So that's how I got through there, and now it looks like a good long-term career here.
Yeah. What is the best experience till now? Like you have, I think you have told us each and every single thing to us, but I want to know the best experience on ship.
The best experience, I'm sure, by the time you talk to any senior officer, it will be a very common answer when your family comes on board.
Okay.
So in 2021, it was just COVID was just started to recover. It's when I was due to sign off. I had already finished 3.5 months of my time due to sign off because my family wanted to join earlier, but lots of visa restrictions, travel restrictions that period. So they said it can't happen. So I was just about to sign off a month or so. Then the company tells me, see, we are not getting any reliever. So what can we do? What do you want? I just requested them, so can my family come if I can't come back? So they said, okay, let's work on that. And the fleet manager, he was pretty happy with my performance. He's seen me before. He's seen me, on the previous vessel also, since you're again in the same company matters. So he got it arranged. So within a week, my family was supposed to join at Panama, but unfortunately they couldn't join. So vessel was heading to Houston. So he connected them at Houston, and they were at Houston. My wife and kids were on board. We had a vetting inspection on board.
Okay.
We just finished the USCG previous day. We finished CDI, and then the vetting inspector was also there. Okay. So then somebody says, okay, your family is come. So he said, okay, chief, you can just go. Okay. So that was the happiest moment I ever had. I went there and seen my kids were running, running towards me, wife following them with a bag. So that was the happiest moment. They were on board for almost 6.5 months. And that was very good. I'll tell you why. Because online school and ship internet was fantastic. The owners had provided really good internet on board. Okay. Petrarec is a UK-based owners. So they are very good, very, very crew-oriented owners. Okay. Because the CEO himself was a sailing second officer himself.
Okay.
So later they went into chartering and then owning of ships. So the internet was fantastic on board. So sometimes school at 6 a.m., sometimes school at 9 p.m., sometimes at midnight. So my wife would be busy with the kids there, and I would probably go to the spare cabin and sleep. So best experience on board.
And what about the worst, if you want to tell?
Yeah. Worst experience on board is again, the sad thing about this career is when you have to be there at home, there are times you just can't, no matter what. Mm-hmm. No matter what, you just can't. So I just joined as 4th engineer, my first ever contract as a 4th engineer. I was on the Aframax tanker. She was going to the dry dock. And everybody was very tight, very busy. It was the first special of the vessel. So very tight, very busy. So everybody was designated a lot of different jobs. And I was designated to open the COP, the steam turbine part of the COP. Mm-hmm. So I was doing that and that time it is 2008. So internet was not very strong, barely. Only whenever we would buy the first thing we would go abroad, still just buy SIM cards. Yes. So we had the SIM card. So by evening 8-9 o'clock I finished work and I went up. My wife had messaged me, please call home, something urgent. Okay. So I didn't know I didn't have a recharge that day and it was already late night. So I took somebody's, I think my 3rd engineer, somebody's SIM card at that time. तब घर पे call किया, तब पता my grandfather had passed away. जब वो गोवा गए थे, तो he had a heart attack in the car itself and he passed away. So and my grandfather and me, we are quite close, So many times like he would be like going to the shops or something like that. He would wait outside. I remember even being as a young child, 7-8 years old, he would give me money. ये लो बाबा, जाओ, खरीदो, छुट्टे बराबर गिन के ले आना. So, a lot of things he instilled in me and like building, he used to like furniture, carpentry as a hobby. So, uske saath mein jab karte the, so, a lot of things I've learned through him. He was like, handyman. My dad was also there, but yes, he was more influential because my dad was working and my grandfather was already retired by then. So, unke saath mein काफी काम कर चुके. Yes, and then I couldn't sign off then. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't sign off. Because I was not married back then. Tab my wife she was still, we were going on for about 3 years then. So she still, 5 years, 5 years then. So she still said, abhi jo hona tha to ho gaya. So see, if you come back again, getting a ship again will be difficult, will be a lot of waste of money. And you consider, see, agar aana hai to hai. Then when we spoke to the company, they said that the Greek, again, the vessel will sail out in 2 days. There's no visa. So no way you can sail out. No way you can sign out. So even though I was ready to pay the 2-way fare, but there was no use. There was no chance. The visa wouldn't get ready anyways, so I couldn't sign off.
Actually, I think.
So that was yes. So I mean, then at some point, yes, I accepted. Abhi, some things happen. So even when I have to tell people about joining, I said, see, there are times when you jitna bhi paisa do, you cannot get off. There are times jitna bhi paisa do, you can't get off.
Exactly.
So ये होता है. So those are the worst.
What is your message for the kids who are joining Merchant Navy right now?
Right now, don't get influenced by people who, again, don't even get influenced by me. Yeah, see, I have come here, I have worked hard. My background is slightly different. Yeah, see, my parents were already a little bit well-to-do, so they had the basics to set up. So I had my funds, to live a little lavish. To be very honest, I had some funds to live a little lavish compared to my other friends at that point. Like, my other friends had to buy a house. That was their top priority. Like, for me, I didn't have to buy a house. I knew I had at least the base to start with. Yes, I have to maintain the house, pay the bills, and do everything else. But at least that base was not there. So don't get influenced by somebody like me. Don't get influenced by anybody else around. Especially the younger boys who end up buying fancy things nowadays. Abhi, a lot of people just buy a new phone and they post it. Yeah, my first salary I bought this, a new car, a new bike. Don't get carried away. See what you want. Abhi, because seafaring is, yeah, a lot of people, you should have the passion. Like, when I go on board, I happily join. People say, yaar, ye to bahut, I said, yeah, I feel sad that I'm leaving my family, but I enjoy doing the work. So if you're passionate about, and not some very funny passionate stories that I've heard, not some very funny passionate stories that we've heard, but just be passionate and you need to be headstrong. Something happens back home, aisa nahi ki, okay, you fight with your girlfriend, okay, there have been cases where, a lot of suicide cases. Like, mental health today is very important at sea. Internet is a boon and it's a curse.
Yes.
The moment you know something, if you're not mentally strong, oh yaar, ye kya kiya, overboard. Oh, but that's not the solution. You jump overboard is okay. Your life, your problems are over. But imagine the problems of the guys on board. The vessel will be called back. Master is arrested for no questions asked. Master will be arrested, no questions asked. Of course, after the questioning and all that, but guilty until proven innocent. Additionally, your family stress. Then your company has to handle the stress. Then the media stress around. So if you're really headstrong, you're really passionate about, joining. And yes, this will definitely give you
even joining and about the work also.
About work.
Whatever you are going to learn over there.
Because life on board is not easy. Especially when you start, if you join as a rating, oh, your life is not easy. You have to clean. See, somebody has to clean the toilets. You can't expect the captain to clean the toilet. Yeah, okay, worst case scenario, everybody is busy or something. Yes, there is a designated person to do the job. It's like when you're in a ship is again like a big factory itself. Now the guy and MD will not go and clean the toilet, right? The janitor who's meant for that, wo karega kaam, because that is his job. And of course, tomorrow someday, even if that janitor wants to give exams, he studies up, he gives an MBA. Tomorrow he can be an executive in the office. ये नहीं रोकेगा उसको. So जहाज पे भी यही culture है. The first time when you go, be humble, be open to learning, be open to corrections, be honest. And be passionate and be headstrong. अगर कुछ हो जाता है घर पे, that doesn't mean बैग बांध के okay ready है सर मुझे घर जाना है. So ये नहीं चलेगा. This is the most important.
Yes. Thanks, Shaun.
Yeah, you're welcome.
चीजें share के लिए and मुझे लग रहा है कि अभी हम शायद इस discussion को और भी आगे ले जा सकते हैं.
Yes.
कुछ comment किए. So definitely I will come back.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm also somebody who likes to talk a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, Sunil was the one who actually contacted me on Instagram. Yeah, we never spoke before, but then when we spoke, we exchanged numbers. So जब हम phone पे बात किए, I think we were about 40-45 minutes. बोलते अरे यार ऐसा लग रहा है कि हम तो बचपन के दोस्त हैं.
Yeah.
So so he's saying, अरे you like to talk a lot, and so why don't you go ahead and So a lot of my followers are 50% Sunils, definitely.
No, जब मैंने ये देखा है जितने भी सीफेयरर्स हैं, लाइक अभी तक मैं जिन लोगों से भी मिला हूँ, सो जो लोग जमीन पे रहते हैं ना, उनकी मेंटालिटी में और सीफेयरर्स की मेंटालिटी में काफ़ी ज़्यादा डिफरेंस है. लाइक बहुत ओपन हार्टेड है और बहुत इजीली एक्सेप्ट करते हैं चीज़ों को. मैंने ऐसा देखा जितने भी सीफेयर्स से अब तक मैं मिला हूँ. इट मे बी पॉसिबल कि आप लोग जिनसे मिलते होंगे उनमें आपको बहुत अलग अलग लोग दिखते होंगे.
नहीं, that's very honest. Like, see, I think what Rajiv also spoke to us earlier. You need to be trustworthy. And trustworthy is not say, okay, ये कर देना. That is not trustworthy. अगर नहीं हुआ आपसे तो आप प्लीज आके बताओ, sorry, I couldn't do it. That is important. That is where you have your closed loop communication. Like suppose you are doing a checklist, you are checking oxygen content. Okay, I tell you check कर यार 20 है तो ठीक है. And I walk away. But that doesn't mean अगर आपको 19 मिला तो आप आके बताओगे नहीं. So that is, you are also being honest. You are not being bad. But you are wrong because you didn't complete. Sir 19 है क्या करना है? So or I couldn't or the worst case आपको check नहीं करने नहीं मिला, आप और कोई काम में busy हो गए, something urgent. And I assume that you have checked. That is all dangerous. So if you can't, it's not just that okay yes sir काम करूँगा, आके बताओ sorry नहीं हुआ.
So हाँ मतलब ये ऐसे काफ़ी सारे एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं एंड आई होप जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स ये देख रहे होंगे ना उनके पास कुछ ना कुछ डाउट्स ज़रूर आएंगे इन फ्यूचर.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
definitely we'll have another session like this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting us. Thanks for having me over. All right, all the best. Thank you.